Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case with the latest news, discussions and responses, such as with the community. Today we're focusing in with an update in regard to what's gone on in recent time, such as with that Noah Presgrove Reddit page supposedly closing down and Jen, the one who created it, stepping back. Well, Michael Fazekaz has spoken himself of what he knows of and the situations in regard to why Jen has made the decision that she has, providing context there, a follow-up video. However, on top of that, Joyce Bergow has responded to giving more context and a reference to where certain conversations previously took place on one of the Facebook pages. So join me today as the record is supposedly set straight, so you get a better understanding of what's gone on and why. And furthermore, I will be replying back to the odd comment too, which is somewhat unnecessary and it says a lot. And I do want to give a disclaimer as well today, so be sure to listen in. It's very important. First and foremost, welcome to anyone that's watching the live premieres, especially people that continuously watch and are still around till this day. Much appreciated. And for those that watch on catch up, anyone, if you got thoughts, questions, be sure to drop your comments down below under the video. I can respond back later. It'll help with spreading awareness. And for those in the live premiere, share your live reactions, chat box available on the right hand side. If you want to support this channel, there is a PayPal link down below in the pinned comment. And if you want to catch up on the recent videos and anything you've missed out on in the past in regard to the Noah Presgrove case, full playlist is available top right corner of the screen. Now, let's just briefly highlight the disclaimer. The reason why I'm doing this video today is one, because we've done similar videos in the past, so why change it all of a sudden? Furthermore, adding on to, if we have defended someone or someone has defended themselves and awareness has been spread, well, the same should follow now. It shouldn't change, because if it did, it would just be a little odd and somewhat one-sided. We need to keep it balanced, of course. Thirdly, people have the right to defend themselves, but not everybody has a voice or a platform to share it. Hence why coverage can be done here, regardless of what side. And, the fourth point is that this is in regard to the case of Noah Presgrove, people that work alongside in the community and for justice of Noah Presgrove, whether people see eye to eye. So it is running in parallel. And if there is a messy moment, trouble, confusion, which could clog up the case, slow down progress, or be noise that needs clearing up, well, if it can be done, it should be done, and efficiently, so it makes it easier and it allows more space for people to breathe and continue on with the case and forwards. See, what separates me from most humans is there is a process, there is a formula behind it, context is given, there is a reason behind it all, and I've outlined and explained it very clearly on my channel and what it's all about during this coverage. Most people can't even get past the stage of explaining because they don't actually know what they're doing. So stuck in any kind of conflict or frustrations, troubles with one another, implosions, and while some may complain about the issues at hand but may not fully be aware that they might be a part of it or enabling it, it just comes down to they don't really have a reason for what they do, for what they say. And yet here I've outlined it, so the disclaimer should be quite clear by now and understandable as to why these type of videos are done amongst other coverage. So without further ado, let's begin and take a look at the latest responses. This first screenshot can be found from my last video that I did last night on my channel. Shout out to Glenn as well. But Michael Fazekaz says the Reddit page will not be deleted, despite what we saw previously in which Jen was hinting at possibly deleting the page, but at the same time it's not possible, but it can be at least privatized or people can be removed from the page and then never be seen again. But I'm guessing it's just going to remain in its normal state from what Michael says here. And how would Michael know better than others? Well, if he's in contact with Jen in the background and Jen was the one kind of creating the page, They're going to have an understanding. They're going to know more. Michael will know more. Is it a positive if the page stays up? Technically, yeah. It means people can still look back and do research on the case and continue on discussions if need be. But does Jen still step back? And if she does, who takes over on the page? Or is it just a wasteland and it's no longer active? But if you have access to the page, you can always look back at it. I wonder. Now, in terms of the practicality of it, I guess it's like a gated private community. Whilst I was once a part of it, no longer. 6 days ago, permanently banned from the Reddit page with absolutely no reason or explanation. Not even really accessed the page since. Not really done any video coverage directly from that page, only from Ashley Chadwick's point of view. Now, if Jen or someone had petty reasons for that type of video of mine on a different platform, on my own channel, and that's the indirect reason, some way, somehow, to me getting permanently banned from that Reddit page, well then it's very petty. And if you're gonna block me, ban me just because of that reason, and that reason being content of that Reddit page, but from the perspective of a Noah Presgrove family member, what does that say about the attitude and outlook of the victim's family? It says a lot, doesn't it? Besides that, Michael does say that Joyce Bergow was blackmailing Jen. This is why she left the Facebook pages, Reddit in total, wanting to get away. Does that sound? This is what they do. Jen did not deserve this. So Michael, when you say this is what they do, as in blackmailing, but why? What's the motive behind it? Do you know, Michael? Or if you had to guess, leave a comment below. And who else are you referring to when you say they? Besides Joyce being labelled as a blackmailer, who else? You can comment below. Now, with that out the way, Joyce Bergow has responded with context of screenshots of previous conversations, I guess leading up to all of this. And supposedly it counters the blackmailing, right? That Joyce Bergow did nothing wrong. Well, let's read these comments out and get an understanding. First time reading them myself. I'm guessing this is on the case discussion page. Correct me if I'm wrong. Joyce responds to Jen Zakuda. Well, I think I'd be more on the family's side with the help of Jan Fiorillo rather than Michael Facecas, who's not even from the area. Well, this comment was posted before the video that I did, which highlighted Jan Fiorillo acknowledging and admitting to borrowing somebody else's Facebook profile, whether it's of a deceased person or not. Would you want someone like that, Jan Fiorillo, on the victim's family side, if they're going to be sneaky, using people as moles to gather information? So it reverts all back to you so you can gain and learn knowledge. Shouldn't it be the family then? When you think of some sneaky behaviour, it just doesn't look good with the darkness, what we revealed last night. And I do find it interesting how, despite the darkness revealed at times, for some people out there, it just doesn't bat an eyelid, as if nothing's wrong, it's okay, but that might show allegiances, maybe. So this was, for context, the comment by Joyce was before the video that I did, where we looked at what Jan Fiorillo had said previously. Okay? Anyway, Joyce says, oh, wait, neither are you, as in Jen. Why did you like your own comment? That's just weird. You've inserted yourself into the case and think you are above the law, even though your husband is Ellie and think Ellie is corrupt. Does this mean your husband is corrupt as well? Was the husband a part of the same police force in the same location as in her Presgrove case? I wonder. Joy says, please explain how you think one department you don't know anything about is corrupt. Oh wait, go ask captain investigators of the group about me. Then I'll help correct you. Jan and I have had our ups and downs, can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we want one thing for Noah and his family. I'm sure that's the same exact thing as you and many others want as well. At the end of the day, this is about Noah and getting the truth. Well, if you want my sharp input on it, anybody that truly wanted justice for Noah Presgrove would not be making false claims about WarLike Wrath. And there's a couple of named individuals, what we have seen, and even Jan Fiorillo making false claims about WarLike Wrath, trying to damage my credibility, trying to damage my future image when it comes to maybe other cases and other people come along. I don't think that's appropriate behaviour. If a person is claiming to be a professional or a professional in certain areas, and yet to talk about zoophilia, to talk about BDSM, to falsely accuse WarLike Wrath of this and that, to falsely accuse WarLike Wrath for making a career out of the Noah Presgrove case, even though I was more established before the case even existed. Jan not doing her research, yet Jan's all about justice for Noah Presgrove and I guess gathering material and acting appropriately. Jan doesn't know how to act appropriately. Jan, since from what we've seen, has been using and borrowing somebody else's account, which is quite sneaky and sly, having some kind of underground connections of moles, like it's some like Spy Kids game. I don't think any of this is exactly appropriate, and I think these humans and more, which I've mentioned over time and indirectly referred to, there's a lot of people that claim to care and want justice for Noah Presgrove, but there's a lot of people that don't actually want justice. And if you say it to their face, they will get triggered. They will whinge and whine, but the reality is their actions don't match their words and their words don't match their actions. It's simple as that. Once in a while, we need a person to actually be dark, be realistic, and it tends to always fall upon me to execute that. So, with that in mind, still focusing on Jen Zakuda, Jan Fiorillo says, Jen, you've accused me of many things here, without evidence, without accountability, and without even a moment of self-reflection. Your comment is filled with projection and personal insults. Well, Jan Fiorillo, if I must just add on, while she might have been on the receiving end of Jen, which is unfortunate if you have been accused of many things and people haven't reflected back upon themselves to change, you, Jan, have done the same stuff to me. So you're in no position to be complaining whatsoever because you have made claims about me without any proper evidence. Simple as. This is what I mean. When we're dealing with problems or problematic situations, I will add on in with my knowledge, with my experience, as a reminder, a refresher, so you know who is who and where things are at. Because two people may look like they're on the same side going against one individual. A person may come across like a victim because on the receiving end of something, but then I step on in and I remind you of what that so-called victim has done to me and to other people with time. So then you really know what people are capable of. I believe, yes, this is Jan's comment still about the self-reflection. Let me be clear, I did not dox you. I called out your public behaviour as a moderator in a public space, etc. Main focus is on Joyce here, of course, in response to Jen. Oh, I'm not doxing anyone, pointing out simple truth. Don't yell Ellie is corrupt when he is a cop. Oh, by the way, anything is public, that's how I found. What the F you tripping on? I haven't deleted any of your comments, but please go ahead and say what you think. I'm not a mod on this page. Maybe it's your dirty deleting. I never deleted any comments, just check. Now, if one is being accused, like Joyce herself, of deleting comments, well, you know, if you're not in the position, the role, you're not going to be able to delete comments. It's as simple as. If you are in a role or a position, on a page, on YouTube, wherever, of some kind of control, it's people on the receiving end who have their comments deleted that may think the worst in the other person and jump to conclusions. as you all know, very familiar. There's been many, many people over time that have jumped to conclusions and assumed and labelled me deleting their comments when I never did, including Jan Fiorillo and some others. And the reality is, I just wasn't deleting them. YouTube auto-deleting comments. And they get worse with time. That's out of my control. But not everybody sees it that way because they're just not aware. But it's a shame those that aren't aware that they still jump to conclusions. It's detrimental to themselves. It causes future problems. Now, looks like Joyce did a screenshot repost of something. I don't know if it will show on the next slide or not. Not quite. I mean, what does it say? Prove it, Jan. Post the entire conversation, whatever that's about. Unfortunately, we only see so much of it. Okay? Joyce to Jan. Well, I think I'd be more on the family side with the help of Jan. Okay, we've seen that one already. Jen Zakuda. Well, you accused me of deleting comment of yours, which I didn't. Not my post, nor am I an admin. I didn't dox your husband. I made an official questionable where you basically stated as facts that the Ellie is corrupt. So I asked you if yours was as well, as in the husband. Nope, I'm not petty to bring minors children into this. As being a mother, I got pissed when Justin Kidd was brought into this. That's in regard to the Justin's daughter and Jasmine Milan and that Snapchat conversation, in which Justin's daughter was apologising to Jasmine Milan for her father's Justin's behaviour. Besides that, your mouth overloads your ass. Don't shit talk about the social host law when you have no room to talk about providing to underage. Right, okay. What else do we have here? Prove what I have lied about. Prove what lies I allowed to be posted. Discussing the case, speculation, opinions, not lies. All these pages were created for that exact purpose. You aren't a victim. You never take responsibility for your actions. You blame everyone else every single time. Even when you posted screenshots of Alicia, you literally blamed Michael Facecast, told him he forced your hand. I guess that might be a comment by Jen. Can't see the full response. Joyce to Jen. What the hell are you doing getting involved in a case like Noah's? Weren't you charged of distributing to a minor back in 2016? I do think you pled guilty. Don't even start running your mouth about anyone that's contributed to someone under 21's. Shame. Right, well, if there's any further backstory here by Joyce or anyone else that can provide it in the comment section below. Supposedly, Jen Zakuda was charged supposedly, allegedly distributing to a minor in 2016. What a stranger. Someone she knew of. A fully grown adult of the correct legal age distributing alcohol to a younger person under 21. If that really is the case, I can truly understand that if Jen was outraged by the social hosting and wanted justice there, Jen wouldn't be in a position to be talking if what's said here is true. On the conditions that what's said here is true, Jen would be a hypocrite. So I do get that. And maybe that can apply on a bigger scale when it comes to people outraged by the social hosting. Outraged by the social hosting because of what it led to. But all the parties before that and all the parties afterwards, strangers and get-togethers, family members and friends of friends that have him, is there the same level of outrage there? No, because no one dies. But it's that what if it goes wrong again? That what if Noah's death happened earlier back then, or with another person. It's about, if you're really for it and passionate, you'd be taking action as soon as possible and as often as possible. If you're going to pick and choose when social hosting is bad and when it's not, even though it's all broken all throughout, picking and choosing, it's just not a good look in my mind, and I'm talking in general there. I know I've done my videos about that already, quite sharp, realistic, and dark. People got triggered by it, but it is what it is. And there we go. We actually got a clear response by Jen Zakuda about that charge or so. I love, Joyce, that you keep doxing me and stalking me. It's you that should keep your mouth shut. I don't need to defend my charge to you or anyone else. Thousands of your little minions have probably a page-long list of offences, but something I pled guilty to almost 10 years ago without you having any context on the matter. What else have I done, Joyce? I sure as hell didn't have a party where someone ended up dead. Oh, but they're innocent, right? Oh no. So, of course, if there is context by Jen which kind of clears it up amongst that charge, then that's a positive, but we might never know. At face value, what's already been said doesn't look good. What needs to be acknowledged, though, is the way Jen has minimised it. And as I've made it very clear, people in the Noah Presgrove case at times, for their actions, behaviour, diminishing stuff, playing down things, what they may have done, messed up on, they play it down, they downplay it, they dismiss it, kind of like the rapist mentality. That is a term that I've created myself. I'm the causation catalyst behind that. The rapist mentality is when you do a bad action, it may not cause physical harm to someone, but psychologically it messes them up. Long-term lasting effects, scars on the inside. And what will happen is, when that bad person's called out, they will simply say and respond with, well, it's not that bad. You know, they can still walk, they can still move about. It's not the end of the world. There's no visible damage, so what's the big deal? Exactly. Diminishing and downplaying what that one person has done and the damage they've caused to someone, or the badness they've caused in general. Playing it down as a means of manipulation, playing it down as a means of protecting oneself, in hopes of, by downplaying it, other people will be more lenient towards you. So it kind of applies here in some way by saying, yeah, I may have distributed alcohol to a minor, supposedly, and pled guilty. But by the way, it was 10 years ago, so who cares? It's in the past. And anyway, what I did didn't lead to a party, and it didn't lead to anyone ending up dead. Right, so basically, the Noah Presgrove case and the party, all bad, all evil, punishments needed and consequences because it led to the death of Noah. But any party after that point onwards, have the local community been reporting the parties left, right and centre for any parties where there is social hosting laws being broken? No, actually, no, because, no one ended up dead, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, there's another party that happens. Well, we don't care. Underage drinking, we don't care. Oh, somebody else dies. Right, that's it. Outrage, we've had enough. Now it's time to take action. Oh, always taking action after the death of someone and not before. Not making a difference beforehand, but only afterwards when it's too damn late. Picking and choosing when to act and when not, but still trying to appear as if you're Mr. Consistent, Mr. Justice, Mr. all about following the rules and laws, regulations. Turning a blind eye at times, turning a cheek at times, playing it down, minimising. And this isn't all about Jen. I am talking in general, but it's just interesting the way I see this, the mentalities of people in the case community. It's not a good look. Joyce responds to Jen, is that a threat? Don't threaten me with a good time. Okay, is that some kind of lesbian stranglehold or something? Anyway. Oh, we know they're in trouble for social hosting, but you as well hosted alcohol to a minor by providing. Never said you had a party, but they already know. They're innocent until proven guilty. No one knows what happened except for all of you who keep screaming murder and Ellie is corrupt. Back it up with receipts if that's what your intentions are, blaming someone when we don't know the full truth. Yeah, I mean, look, you can either scream it out loud, holler at the rooftops, provide evidence, hard evidence and receipts. It goes a long way. It backs yourself up. It helps the situation and spreads awareness. If you can't do that, don't be screaming, don't be wailing like a banshee, but just give suggestions and opinions with appropriate language. See, there is negotiation, there is balance. It can be met, but people aren't willing to reach that point, and it's not even difficult. A few more convos here. Joyce to Jen, do we have answers? You seem to run your mouth a lot. Let's hear it. And Jen, who even are you? Oh wait, I don't care. Don't ever tag me in a comment again. And Joyce, shouldn't you be ashamed of how you are? Oh wait, your husband is Ellie and you think you're above the law to talk however you want. Don't like being called out on your BS. Aren't you one of the people who claim that Ellie is corrupt, yet your husband is Ellie? So does that make him corrupt as well? So, these conversations had taken place supposedly before or around close to when Jen tried or made the decision to take a step back, and from Facebook pages. Michael Facecast says Joyce has blackmailed Jen. Has Joyce actually blackmailed Jen here? Look, I'm going to be balanced, so Michael, feel free to listen in for this. An argument, people, and this is not what I think, this is not what I'm saying, but other people could be awkward and word it as in, well, by what Joyce is referring to as a supposed fact and an event in which Jen has confirmed and admitted to and pled guilty in the past, it could be seen as a form of emotional blackmail to make someone feel bad about themselves in order to take a step back from the case. But, in defence of Joyce Bergow, Joyce isn't here to push people away, at least from the surface level, and at least from what I know of. Joyce is just present to try, more so in recent time, clear up the BS, tie up the loose ends, like on the ARC page with the contributions there, but then also call out people's BS in other places, or at least get to the bottom of it. Joyce can be acknowledging Jen and say, if this is corrupt and that's problematic and troublesome, back it up with evidence, and then maybe there'll be a resolve, and it doesn't happen. Any complaints made by Jen or anybody else, if they're not happy with social hosting, but they may have done something themselves in the past, if that's of public information and can be found, and Joyce has gathered it or seen it, Joyce is in a position to be saying, hey, you can complain about this and that, but don't go all in because you're not in a position to be talking. You're a hypocrite. You've done it yourself, so you should know better. That's not exactly blackmail. If the material is publicly obtainable in the first place, it could be deemed as you're using it against them, but it's not done completely in a nasty way. It's just used as a fact to say and as an observation, this is the deal, this is what you've done, okay? But maybe your mindset is focused on justice for Noah and getting the consequences on those responsible for the social hosting, but there needs to be a level of leniency because you should be able to relate to some extent, but you're not acknowledging your past, you don't know your place, you don't know your role. We need to refresh that, bring it back into your mind. And that is something that I've done with time. So I can understand to that extent what Joyce is referring to. Unless what Michael is getting at, there's screenshots elsewhere of other stuff which shows blackmail. I don't see it at this moment in time. That's just my opinion. You let me know your thoughts down below. But, in recent time, Joyce Bergow, despite maybe being a bit ill here and there, has been really full on and active with some of the pages at least, and quite helpful. And maybe not, to other people's mindsets, but like on the ARC page and there's some screenshots and some communication, the mentions of Cash Allsup, references there, the situation with Cade and Pressy, the discrepancies along the way, and maybe some screenshots to do with Alicia Lee or air tags, things like that. It's been quite heavy, it's been quite full on, but it's also been important, and Joyce has been behind that, which is a positive, and has been able to assist or provide a bit of context towards me too if I had the odd question. But besides that, not everybody will see it the same way, and that's okay. We do have a bit more. I think I got a bit ahead of myself. I thought that was it at the screenshot, so let's just read the rest. Hopefully they're in some kind of correct order. We just work with what we've got. To Jan, Joyce says, well, I think I'd be more on the family side. We've seen all that. Yeah, as well, at the end of the day, yeah, I can. So maybe some things were duplicated. Jen, in response to Jan Fiorillo, prove it, Jan. Post the entire conversation. You were just pissed that I didn't take your side against Michael Facecast. You are totally delusional. and think you are better than anyone. I didn't resort to anything. I defended myself. Anyone that stands up to you gets targeted and harassed. Well, I've stood up and defended myself against Jan Fiorillo and her silly claims, and I did not get harassed. And if I was to be, well, then I would have to defend myself again and tell people off like naughty individuals that they are. But Jan says to Jan, you are part of a love and peace group, yet you do nothing but hate, talk shit about people, lie about them, and then harass them by going on every group you can to do all your nasty deeds, enjoy all the attention from strangers. I empathetically expressed my opinions. Bullshit. I'm such a monster for not agreeing with the family. You are the monster by making that ridiculous post about me and doxing me. What, as in Jan doxing Jan? Does that sound? And trying to get others to target me. Every single time that someone doesn't cower down to you, you do the exact same thing to them. I can show countless screenshots from people who have made it their job to stalk you, Jan, and you just ignore them but come after me because how dare I disagree with Noah's family. The same people stalking you are saying the worst vile things about Noah's family. Do you care about those people? If not, then all you are is a hypocrite. What I'd like to say is, what is Jen disagreeing with what Noah's family say compared to what Jen thinks? What's the disagreement? I don't see the context there. Does anyone know? Oh, zoomed in a bit too much. Oh boy, we got even more text there. Great. Small writing as well. Okay, well, we've seen all that. Jan's response to Jen, you've accused me of many things here without evidence. Okay, you said people were disagreeing with Noah's family. I responded when people attack and misrepresent. So, okay, hold on. There's a little bit more there. You say I'm delusional, attention-seeking, harassing, hateful, all whilst accusing me of things have actually done to me and to Noah's family. I've watched you, Michael, and others enable gossip, silence truth-tellers, and twist reality when called out. The people stalking me, I've never denied they exist, and I've spoken out against their harassment, including the vile things they've said about Noah's family. The difference is I've never hidden behind opinion to justify it. You say I target people for disagreeing with Noah's family. That's false. I've responded when people attack them, misrepresent them, or seek to undermine their grief and voice. Disagreeing is not the problem, but degrading, gaslighting, and trying to strip them of agency is absolutely. I will not trade insult for insult. I'm not here for character feuds or performative drama. I'm here for one thing, justice for Noah Presgrove. Bollocks. If you were just here for Noah Presgrove and justice, Jan, you would not be making your false claims about me and in a way trying to damage my character and maybe indirectly trying to push me away from trying to keep this case alive single-handedly on YouTube, Jan. Okay? Massive hypocrite there. Besides that, if it makes me a target, so be it. But I will never apologise for standing by this family or for calling out behaviour that tries to make the pain smaller. Well, you've been calling me out, and I wouldn't say it's justifiable, but there we go. So I do find it really interesting when things like this happen. I think I read most of the comments out there. It's just because there seems to be some repeats, and it's a bit annoying. Jan, do you even see that everyone hates you? I have a right to an opinion. Why do you think I still have all my comments up? Because I do not have to defend my opinion. You better stop slandering me. Jan says, what's unfortunate here is not your opinion, it's your conduct. You didn't just state an opinion, you used your position as a moderator to silence someone for defending a grieving family. You allowed lies to be posted unchecked, and now you're trying to reduce me to a punching bag in a public thread, accusing me of slander whilst publicly shouting everyone hates you. And in terms of claims made, which Jan has labelled me off, and I've got it all documented on my channel, in my videos and my responses, so it's all under control there. That's not an opinion, that's harassment. You say you've left all your comments up, so have I, and because I'm not afraid of what I said, I've spoken from a place of conviction, truth, and not cruelty. I'm not going to match your hostility, but I will absolutely continue to call out lies, disinformation, and the mistreatment of Noah's family, and anyone who stands with them. But you're okay in calling and making false claims about WarLike Wrath's channel. Yeah, great job. Hypocrite again. Because that is where my loyalty lies, not with group politics, not with self-appointed gatekeepers, with the truth. not with self-appointed gatekeepers, and yet Jan Fiorillo is the one that's got that little secret group of moles working for her, including Pam, going about gathering information and collecting it to Jan Fiorillo. Yeah, interesting. Do we have anything else? You can hate me, you can insult me, but you don't get to silence me. Don't get to silence me. And yet you, Jan, were the one that was falsely claiming that WarLike Wrath was deleting your comments, yet you had absolutely no proof of that, and it actually turned out to be YouTube, but you just didn't see it that way because you only saw it in a one-dimensional, one-sided way. And when I kept repeating it to you over and over again, you still wouldn't understand. And I tried my best to explain it, and it just didn't work. Now, it doesn't get any better, because now we move on to this thing known as AJ. We'll just read what they say. And this is in response to, WarLike Wrath. AJ Williams, as of last night, said, Jesus, this dude, WarLike Wrath, is a complete idiot and a full-blown narcissist. And it's not the first time AJ's called me a narcissist. AJ Williams has labelled WarLike Wrath as the biggest narcissist on this planet. WarLike Wrath, he bashes Justin Roy, Michael Fazekaz, Jan Fiorillo, etc. The reality is, AJ, I'm not bashing, I am defending, and I am making observations. Justin has made false claims about me to do with the Reddit situation and out of context screenshots. I've cleared my name, I've cleared myself, and I've defended myself for good reason. As for Michael Fazekaz, at some point previously, Michael was on naughty behaviour, set the record straight, and was clear about it. As for Jan Fiorillo, false claims as well made about my channel, my character, and how I've contributed to the case. I have cleared things up as I've gone along because I have a channel to run, I have a brand, and I need to defend myself in the moment to squash the problems, or it will snowball effect. I have a reason behind all what I do, and I explain it and outline it very clearly. So I'm not bashing AJ Williams. Your point immediately, or should I say statement, is invalid and incorrect. Besides that, AJ says, supposedly bashing, for whining, pitching, moaning, and repeating themselves. But WarLike Wrath does the exact same things. Nope. In terms of what I've labelled amongst those named individuals wasn't directly for that, it was more what they've done to me and the claims that they've made. And more so in general, when it comes to problems where people are talking about things need to change and things are problematic, I have done videos simply trying to help people, to spread awareness, to highlight the issues at hand, how they can be resolved and move forwards. And if that's seen as continuous or similar to what others are doing, no, because as I said at the start of this video, for example, giving that disclaimer, it squashes all what AJ says here, making AJ's points irrelevant at this moment in time. Okay? Moving on, AJ Williams says, WarLike Wrath is just as bad as Justin Roy, just as bad as Michael, just as bad as Jan Fiorillo and Pam Feldman Garrison. That WarLike Wrath is just as bad as Joyce Burgow and Donna Bond, etc. All these pages and podcast videos, Reddits, etc., all like to bitch and moan about other pages, podcast, YouTube videos, and channels, claiming each other are harming the case, and they all try and justify their own videos, YouTube channel, pages, etc., falsely claiming they are helping the case, whereas others are harming it. But the reality is, not one of these YouTube channels, pages, podcasts, Reddits, etc. are helping this case whatsoever and are actually harming and hindering the case. It's incredibly sad what has been done to this case by YouTube podcasters, pages, page members, followers, etc. that simply use this case and nose deaf for their own gain, views, followers, likes, etc. If y'all truly cared about No's case, y'all would stop all this nonsense, but y'all won't because you don't truly care. But thankfully, authorities are fixing to take it all down and put a stop to it. Oh, are you suggesting that the authorities are taking my stuff down as well? Is that so, AJ? Okay, so it's rather interesting upon reflection of what AJ Williams says. I mean, first of all, no one should be hiding. Every single person watching this video right now whether that be live or if you're watching it on catch up. Do you agree with what AJ Williams says in general? Do you agree with AJ Williams' claim of me bashing people? That I am similar to Justin Roy, Jan Fiorillo, Michael Facecas, and others? It's interesting. In what way, specifically, as for evidence? Because I don't see any. What I would like to say first and foremost, it's very evident that AJ Williams, whilst they're an expert in their field, when they do drift off tangent and start speaking in other ways and approaching the concept of psychology and minds of humans, it's just not the place to be, AJ Williams. Okay, I think you, AJ, need to stick in your lane and know your place when talking and when being spoken to as well. Will you be able to do that for me, AJ? Because time and time again, you have constantly let me down and you've disappointed me. I've been very, extremely lenient towards you, considering your behaviour, your constant insults, and aimed towards other people as well. That might just be your genetic makeup and your phenotype, how you express yourself in life, or maybe more so online. Whether you express yourself in that way in your role in life, who knows? But is it necessary? You may feel the expression of justice for Noah Presgrove, but in terms of your attitude, your wording, and how you indirectly push people away and also downplay the importance of social media and certain channels at least, such as hair. Whilst you downplay and you, in a way, critique it, maybe some could argue bash it, would Noah Presgrove be proud of you, AJ Williams? Because if we look back to the party itself, when Noah Presgrove was drunk, supposedly, at the time, and supposedly got frustrated and annoyed with a situation with people, what did Noah do? He supposedly walked away to cool off, something which he supposedly did often in the past, distancing himself so it doesn't bring down the mood of the party, cooling down himself to reflect, and then return back to the party and things are okay. A selfless act, not taking anyone else down with his mood or tone at the time, whether he be in the right or the wrong. Noah Presgrove having self-control to some extent. Now ask yourself again, would Noah Presgrove be proud of you, AJ Williams, for your disastrous attitude, mindset, and wording? Because what have you contributed, such as on this channel, with a default profile, with 0 videos, going on, criticizing and complaining and insulting, using keywords and labels as well, falsely labeling me as a narcissist with absolutely no hard evidence proof or any model of measurement either? Are you in a position to be doing that? See, the difference that separates me from you and other humans out there is when I make observations about people, I use correct, appropriate wording. Yet the way you word it, as if it's a fact that one could be diagnosed as this or that, or straight up a certain way, certain personality trait, characteristic. Clearly, you're not in a position to be doing that role, are you? And you've not backed it up either. But at least with me, I use appropriate language and wording. So once again, AJ Williams, I'm disappointed within you. And whilst I have been lenient, and whilst I have said that there is always time for you to do better, time is running out, as you're well aware yourself. So it is getting to that point where you are appearing to be a lost cause. Okay? Just like the others. One gives the others time upon reflection and upon movement forwards, but only so much can be done, only so much can be said and expressed. If it's thrown back in one's face, then it is what it is. But it's important to highlight what's going on. And whilst one may not be an expert everywhere or in certain key fields as you, it's made clear, even if it may trigger you, because clearly it does, based on your reactions. Quite tense, how you come across, sharp with your words. And in a case in a community, there's a need for some kind of communication, some kind of understanding, even if one may not agree with another, and beyond. A level of leniency, a level of patience, and clearly you don't quite have that. You appear to have a short fuse as well. So reflecting back, I think Noah Presgrove would be absolutely categorically embarrassed and ashamed of you, AJ Williams, for your behaviour, your attitude, and how, even if it's indirectly, you push people away. Would Noah Presgrove want people being pushed away from a case, whether that be as a viewer or a creator? Wouldn't Noah Presgrove want justice? Wouldn't Noah Presgrove want awareness of his name so it doesn't fade away, just like the victim's family? But you, AJ, are no different to Trav Davidson, no different to many of the names out there. It's not necessary, but clearly it happens. And once again, when things get formal and serious, this is where we are. Simple as. But when it comes to these moments and environments, the environment may change, the personality and behaviour within others does not. And that is a problem. So all in all, for you, AJ, to give your thoughts and ideas of platforms, media, YouTube, Facebook, and specifically YouTube and channels exploiting from the case or gaining in unnatural ways. My question is to you, AJ. Whilst yes, you're here for the case in your mind and not for my channel, I understand that. But still, you are contributing to something that you detest, something that you don't agree with. You're a walking liability. Okay? I hope you know that. And I hope you can process that within your tense mindset. Let it unravel and unwind within. This is a clear observation. You don't appear to have much of a funny bone at times. And in terms of your insulting words and labels, it is what it is. But that type of attitude, which could be considered disease-ridden, toxic-like behaviour, is it warranted? And it could beg to differ. Why are you really here? If you really dislike certain platforms and media and these channels and myself for the coverage, you don't like it, you don't agree with it, then why are you part of the gears and cogs in supporting it and keeping it going and moving forwards? Wouldn't the best course of action to distance yourself, to go elsewhere, and to be around other like-minded people with the case and for the case besides her? You come across like Justin Roy in some ways, as in behaviour, mindset, mentality doesn't quite match the reasoning behind being present when there could be a greater reason and a greater action taken elsewhere. You know, in some ways, I'm sure there'll be examples elsewhere where we could highlight that a person can complain so much about social media in general, like how many humans do in life, complain about social media, complain about global warming, the environment, the damage, and what they're doing, they're typing from a mobile phone. They're posting on social media about them hating social media. Absolute hypocrite. Oh, you want to save the world and the planet? You're driving a car? Oh, you're jetting off on holidays all the time? They're just examples which have been used in the past on my channel, dating back to 2014 at the age of 14 years of age. It's all documented, but just in general. There will be many people that can complain, critique, whine to some extent, but they're a part of the problem and they're actively participating within it. If you don't like social media, don't be using it. If you don't like social media but you've got no choice but to use it, use your wording wisely. Many people fail to do that. So once again, AJ Williams, you stick to what you're good at. And I don't mean complaining and insulting people, similar to how Stevie Howard would in the past, but more so what you know best, okay? And you leave the YouTube stuff and the media, the coverage, and the process and the formulas behind all of that to the others, okay? Hopefully you can be a good person. You can do that for me? Probably not. Maybe your teeth are grinding right now as the gears are going within, the eyes turning bloodshot. Regardless, I'm still covering the case, whether you like it or not. And you can make the choice whether you stick around and support the problem which you hate, or you take action and change and break the cycle. That falls in your hand, your choice at the end of the day. If you want to be a walking liability and a complete hypocrite, feel free to do so, okay? Hopefully, most people understood the video, the process behind it, and where we can go from here. My name's WarLike Wrath. More videos to come, different styles, formats, and usage of Google Earth maps, possible map theories and ideas. If you want to support the channel, PayPal link below in the pinned comment section. And for the full playlist, top right corner where the I symbol is. My name's WarLike Wrath. Good night for now.